The fate of the Kherson region in southern Ukraine is uncertain tonight as officials in Kyiv suggest Russian forces may withdraw soon. CNN international diplomatic editor Nick Robertson is on the scene in Ukraine for us. So, Nick, are Ukrainians seeing signs that Russia is retreating from Kherson?
I think what we're seeing signs of really is some political sparring between both sides and some military maneuvers on the ground that are indicative that perhaps there is going to be, a greater contest or a fiercer contest for Kherson in the near future. But it's hard to tell. We're not there. What are we hearing from the Russian backside in Kherson at the moment? They're saying, look, we're not seeing fighting on the front lines, but we believe that the Ukrainians are in convoys ready to come. What are we hearing from the Ukrainians? The defense minister today said that he believed, in essence, breaking down his sarcasm, that the Ukrainians were going to have to fight for Kherson, that the Russians weren't going to back out of it and give it up, despite taking down flags, despite not having many troops apparently in the center of the city, despite only sort of hardening their defense on the edge of the city, that the Ukrainians will have to fight for it, that the Russians will have losses. And he added as well that he thought the Russians would be having a tough time because their trenches are in the irrigation ditches around this port city, and there's been a lot of rain, and you may be able to hear it behind me right now. It is tipping down tonight. So trenches around here are going to be filling up, and it is going to make the fighting harder for both sides. But I think the significant military maneuvers seem to be coming around the key dam just upriver from Kherson, that the Ukrainians have said if they can get it within the sights of their artillery, the Russians will know that that's their only route of retreat across the river, and that the game is up, essentially, and that they will leave rapidly. Now, the Russians, and President Putin has reinforced this, are forcing civilians from villages on the east bank, the opposite side from Kherson, around that dam and just upriver from the dam, which gives an indication that the fight there might get stronger and might be getting closer. But again, much of this is conjecture. Is a lot of political sparring with that military maneuvering.
All right, Nick Robertson in Kramatorsk, thank you so much with the latest there. I want to get more on all of this with the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Taylor. You hear Nick's report there, and it's almost like what we talk to Nick about every day, which is what is really happening with Kherson, because it is murky, as you see there. What are you expecting, especially now that we have heard sort of the rare weigh-in by Vladimir Putin himself?
So, Brianna, it is hard to say. What is clear is Kherson is very important for both sides. What is also clear is that the Russians are sending in inexperienced troops, people they've just called up, not much training. They're going to be sitting there on the right bank, on the side where Kherson is, and they're not well disciplined. They're not well trained. If they panic, like happened in Kharkiv, then that could have a devastating effect on the rest of the Russian army in Ukraine. So Kherson is really important. Neither side is showing their hand. Neither side is showing exactly what they're going to do. Don't put it past the Ukrainians to go somewhere else.
Don't put it past them to go somewhere else. What do you mean?
That means that they don't want to destroy downtown Kherson. Kherson is a beautiful town. I've been there. They don't want to destroy it with artillery, with house-to-house fighting. They could be looking at other ways to make that Russian troops panic.
So today the U.S. announced this $400 million in new security assistance and a revamped command to train soldiers. Is that enough to support Ukraine through this here for a while, especially when you consider that we have these midterm elections upon us, and even partial Republican control of Congress could stymie efforts to get more aid to Ukraine?
So, Brianna, I don't think so. I don't believe that. What I see in today's Congress...
You don't believe that Republican control would stop support of Ukraine?
That's correct. I don't believe that Republican control of the House, say, would stop support for Ukraine. Why? Because right now, the American people and the full range of Congress, with a little bit of concern on the left and the right, but basically you have a solid bipartisan majority and it turns out that there are not many changes of seats. So I don't see a big change in the Congress. I certainly don't see the Congress reducing dramatically the support for Ukraine. I see it continuing. And it's going to take some real leadership on the part of Senator McConnell, and Senator Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi, and the president to keep this support up, because it's going to be hard this winter. Hard here, hard in Europe, but hardest on the Ukrainians.
Certainly will be, though they seem to have quite a will behind them,
They've
as
got
we
will.
hear, even without water and power in our reports today. Ambassador Taylor, always great to get your perspective. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Brianna.